Hi everyone, just before you listen to today's podcast, I just wanted to let you know that for some reason we completely forgot that we recorded our 40th podcast last week. So just bear that in mind when you listen to this episode. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome back to the Bodcast for our 40th episode. And Carrie has let me do the introduction, although she's cringing while I talk, so I'm not sure she's happy with this.
It's just weird.
So today we are talking about AFOL days. So for those of you not aware, the Lego stores about once a quarter will do what they call a AFOL day, and if you are in a recognised lug or maybe some other...
No, I think it's just recognised
Just recognised lug? It's not all LAN members as well.
I don't think so.
But you can get a special stamp on your digital VIP card, and that entitles you to 15% off.
Yeah, with
Or
some
at least-
limitations,
yeah.
but like 15% off is 15% off. I think you can get one of every set.
So it's only in the stores, so if it's out of stock, then obviously you can't get it because it doesn't transfer to online.
You can get it on Pebbles and BAM.
Yeah.
I think I heard someone in the US say that you can't get it on anything over £100. No, not £100. That would be weird in the US.
Yeah.
$100. But I don't think we had that stipulation in the UK.
Definitely not.
We spent more than 100.
Yeah.
So we've only actually had one AFOL day that we've been part of a lug, and the second one is coming up soon. And now the news is that they're not going to do the 15% discount anymore, and it's being replaced by, it's called AFOL Appreciation Day. And maybe that's the same. Maybe it's always been called AFOL Appreciation Day.
We just shorten it because we're lazy.
Yeah. And now it will be a gift with purchase for a $75 pound, whatever currency spend, which I always find it a bit weird because that doesn't seem consistent.
No. Well, Lego prices aren't
No.
consistent. Like the amount you have to spend to get free delivery in the UK
It's 50.
is something like twice the amount you would have to spend in the US.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, gift with purchases, £75 and above. What are your thoughts, Ian?
So, we don't know what the gift with purchase is going to be.
Yeah.
They're talking about it being exclusive.
Yes, I think that's
But
what I've heard.
whether that actually turns out to be the case, who knows? Like, what are the stores going to do with... They're either going to run out of them on AFOL Day, or they're going to have excess left over after
Yeah, and where do they then go?
Yeah.
So do you have those for the next... Is it always the same gift with purchase? That seems a bit rubbish if it's always the same. Because once you've bought it once, you don't really care.
Yeah.
Although maybe if they have spare left over, then it comes back out the next AFOL Day. So if you've missed the first one, you can start...
Maybe.
If I buy...
And if they run out, that's going to be an extremely sucky thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, the whole point of 15% off is that it doesn't matter what time of day you go there, you
still
get 15%
the same.
off.
So our initial discussions about this, we were talking about how other people in the store who aren't AFOLs or who aren't part of a registered lug are going to feel seeing people getting gift with purchases that they're not getting. Because a 15% discount is applied at the point of like transaction.
Yeah.
And it's unlikely that anyone will sort of really spot that. It depends how much you flash your card about, I'm an AFOL, please give me my discount. If you do that, then people might make a fuss. But otherwise, it's relatively quiet and just doesn't attract too much attention. And therefore, no one can be upset about it. People can be upset. But whereas if you're next to someone at the till and they're getting something and you're not, you're probably going to notice that.
Yep. And it's not like you can just join a lug instantly and get access to it. I mean, sometimes joining a lug, you have to jump through a couple of hoops to actually join it. I know that Snowlana was saying that the Sydney lug, they have to actually see you in person. You have to go to an in-person meeting in order to remember.
Even if there's no hoops, there is definitely hoops to get that AFOL sticker on your card.
That's it. Once you're in registered lug, you've then got to go through a process. I mean...
Our first one, we were unsuccessful in actually getting the sticker because I think there was probably a name mismatch or something on the form, and there's no like feedback. If it's wrong, they don't come back to you and like, oh, well, this one didn't work, can we get some more details? It's just, oh, nothing for you. And we struggled to get that sticker, but I think we've got the sticker now. We've got a definite bit of paper that says we should be eligible this time. I think it's really hard to say if it's a good thing or a bad thing until we see what those gift with purchases are going to be like.
Yeah.
And whether they'll be worth it or not.
But I think the topic of perks for being in a lug, I think causes some confusion, because there are a number of perks for being in a recognised lug. One is that you've got lug bulk, which is once a year the lug can choose some Lego bricks that you can then buy in large quantities at a fairly good discount.
Yeah, but you have to buy them in large quantities. So
yeah,
for the average Joe Bloggs who just wants to get some cheap Lego, and they've got no reason for that, they're just like, oh, I'd like to get my Lego cheaper. It's not suitable. You get large quantities of one brick at a time. It's kind of...
And it's also not, it's not like going to, bricks and pieces and going, oh, I want these, and these.
Yeah.
The lug can only submit a set number of bricks to get. I think lugs can decide that however they want. In our case, it's done by a voting system.
Yeah, and our vote, I don't know if it's specifically our vote, you can't have the same pieces each year. Like, it has to be something new. That was one of the rules. Yeah.
And also, it takes, we don't know how long, but I'm hearing about 6 months for the pieces to turn up. And then that maybe they go to the ambassador for the lug, who's then got to spread out the pieces somehow, or you have to go and pick them up, depending on how your lug runs. So, that is very much for people who want to do mocks and they want to do it on a large scale. But if you're not in the lug and you've not gone through the process, people just see it as, you can get Lego really cheap.
Yeah, and it's not that. I mean, it definitely facilitates people making Lego models to display at shows.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of it.
Yes.
There's also the project support, which is, again, for those kind of collaborative projects you see at the shows where everyone's decided to work on the same thing. You can apply for cheaper bricks for those specifically.
Yep. So that's how the big castle medieval scene thing that was in Manchester, that was all done through that. So they got access to cheaper bricks specifically for doing that project.
I think also the big figs might have been project support as well. I've definitely seen them talking about project support for all the really large minifigures.
Yeah, so you kind of got that, and as we say, that's primarily aimed at Lego shows and getting people to the Lego shows, so you can see why Lego does it.
Yeah, and that's listed as a perk, but I kind of feel like that's an important thing to have to encourage people to build and display mocks.
Yeah.
It's not really a perk as such. It's not a, we appreciate you, it's more a, let's help you out kind of thing. Whereas the 15% off, that's clearly a perk of... Right, this is for the stuff that you want to do in your spare time, not for the projects that we want you to display. So here, have that. That definitely seems like a perk to me.
But again, at a lot of the Lego shows, you have people showing off sets.
Yeah, or people who've got cityscapes.
Modified sets.
Yeah, with sets in.
So it's a way for those people doing those displays to get the sets cheaper.
Yeah.
So again, it still helps going into that. Obviously, the AFOL day is a lot more helpful to the average Lego builder who isn't showing anything.
Yeah.
So, it's more helpful. There are a couple of other perks that you get. There are special lug days at the Lego house, I believe.
Oh, yes, I believe that's true.
So it's a slightly better tour of the Lego house.
Okay.
And then the one that I think causes a lot of confusion is that the ambassador for the lug gets a Christmas set.
Yes.
But that is only the ambassador. So for each registered lug, there's one sent out.
Yeah.
Also, land members also get sets as well. So, but yeah, from the lug point of view, it's just that. So now what happens to that set will vary again on lug. Sometimes it goes to the ambassador and they can do whatever they want with it. Sometimes it will be that it is given off as a raffle or as a prize for something. I
think generally because the ambassador does a lot of work, it's just kept by the ambassador.
Yeah.
I don't know any other lugs would raffle it, but maybe they do.
I've definitely heard of it being raffled off. But I think people confuse it and think that everyone in the lug has the chance to get that set.
Yeah, that's not true.
So as a standard member of a recognised lug, you don't have access to anything an average person who's not in an R-Lug does. So someone said that you get early access to pieces. And I think unless you're getting the project help, I don't think that's true at all.
No, well, someone was saying that you get early access to the pick-a-brick wall in some of the stores for AFOL Day.
Right.
So I think you get to go in early, and if they've got stuff out back, they'll show it to you. But you can walk into a Lego store, build up a rapport with the people in that store, and they'll do that for you anyway.
Yeah.
So they won't open early for you. That's a bit extreme. But like we go into the Southampton store a lot, and they know us, and therefore we'll say, "Oh, we've got these parts at the back that aren't on the wall, but you can still pick from them." So I I think that's not a perk either. But now, being a member of an R-Lug will get you some exclusive stuff. Maybe. Because I think they said exclusive. I'm still waiting to see that first gift with purchase. What it's going to be.
I mean, and they say, a lot of gift with purchases, they say are exclusive, and then you can buy them in the
Legoland.
The Discovery Centres. Yeah. So what they say and what actually happens can sometimes be a little bit different.
I think it's a loose meaning of the word exclusive. I think maybe it's...
not general release.
Yeah, there's some level of exclusivity, but not really.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens this AFOL day, because I think there's at least 2 people I know in our lugs who have specifically been talking about getting the AT-AT.
80/80.
Yeah. On AFOL day.
AT-AT, yeah.
Because you get the 15% off, and how much that saves on that one set.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, if they were thinking about doing that, they're not sure if they're doing it this AFOL day or next AFOL day.
But now they have no choice.
They have no choice. It's got to be this AFOL day.
But they might
as far
not
as
have
we
the
know.
funds. Yeah.
They could go back. What we know is that this one is going to be 15% off, and the rest in the year are going to be gift with purchases.
Oh, so you reckon that it might be we've got 4 appreciation days a year. 3 are going to be gift with purchase, 1 will be a discount.
That's one way they could do it.
We just don't know, do we?
Yeah, and I guess some of that's going to be how well it works. I mean, I don't know whether this is to try and get more people into our lugs. They'll see these gift with purchases and they go, oh, how do I get that, and get involved in the iLug that way? Or is it that they've gone, well, 15% off was too much of a discount, we want to pull back from the iLugs?
I mean, why do they incentivise being in an R-Lug? The 15%, were they doing it to get more people into the R-Lugs in the first place? Was it then costing them too much?
Well, so Lego needs the R-Lugs for doing the shows and stuff like that, and community projects and a whole bunch of different things that R-Lugs are really important for doing. And Lego know that that takes time, it takes money.
Yeah.
So therefore, as a result, R-Lugs tend to charge a membership fee. Mm-hmm. Normally it's fairly cheap.
Yes.
I've heard, between £4 and £12 seems to be.
Brickish is like £12 a year or something. And that's the UK wide one that you join.
So, but Lego need to incentivise people to join them. Otherwise, you don't have enough people joining. Therefore, in order to function, the R-Lugs are going to have to charge each member more, and then it becomes an expensive thing, and it becomes a much more complicated
But
system.
have they decided now that they've got enough people in those R-Lugs already that they can survive with just those people continually making new stuff?
I think that's the question, isn't it? Is it that this is to say, right, we don't care anymore, we think we've hit the level we want, or is this to try and increase the levels because they want more people in there?
So you think someone who's not in an R-Lug right now would think harder about joining an R-Lug if it was an exclusive set rather than
I think so.
Because there's no other way for them to get that.
Yeah.
Whereas they could wait for another retailer to have 20% off.
Yeah.
And that would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
We talked in a podcast before that 20% is the sweet spot where if you see it somewhere at 20%, it's better to, or is it as good as AFOL day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about that 20%. I think knee-jerk reactions, everyone assumes it's bad. Something's changing, we don't like it.
Yeah.
That definitely tends, I think that's just, not just Lego people, but the world at large.
Yeah.
Change scares people. And knee-jerk is, oh, this is bad. How could they possibly be doing this? I think we need to wait and see what these exclusive gift with purchases will be. What would you like to see them being?
Don't know.
We're not into Star Wars. So if they are themed, and therefore once a year there's a Star Wars one, we wouldn't be interested in that.
Yeah.
And therefore we're not getting any appreciation from that day. Like, oh, we don't appreciate you because you don't like Star Wars kind of thing.
And I guess, they do the exclusive sets that you can only get from the house.
Yeah.
It could be that they make those available.
And then, are they worth it? Do you think they're exciting
People
enough?
get quite excited by them.
Yeah, I think I'm always looking at city stuff. If it's not city stuff, then do I care enough? And it's tricky.
I mean, those house exclusive ones confuse me because they get sent out to land members to review.
But you can't get them unless you go to their house.
Yeah.
Well, but people still want to see what they're like. Do we think if it's not a gift with purchase that we actually want, that we'd still go and get it and resell it? Does that feel wrong to you?
I don't know. That, I guess, comes down to what will they do with the extra stock. If we don't go and get it, is that one less of those sets out there for people to see.
So you're saying that if they could just completely threw away all sets that weren't given out,
Yeah.
that's reducing the secondary market availability of that
Yeah.
set even more. So us going out and buying it and selling it on is helping someone who wouldn't be able to get that set anyway.
So.
Yeah, that's the way to look at it.
Well, so I think it's going to be really interesting to see how many go for sale.
On eBay.
Because obviously, this isn't something that an average scalper can get. You can't walk into a store and buy it. You have to be in an R-Log. You have to have gone through the hoops to get the membership badge.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing some people will do that purely so they can sell it. And some people who really don't like the gift with purchase will buy it to sell it so that they can continue spending more on Lego.
Yeah.
But I imagine it's going to be a lot less people reselling it than a standard gift with purchase. I guess it may be similar to the Christmas set, the LAN Ambassador, the Lug Ambassador
Okay.
Christmas set, where, a lot of them want the set and so therefore they don't go on sale.
Yeah.
And therefore the price of those is ridiculous.
So do you think if you spend 150, you get 2 of them?
No.
What if you went out the door and came back in again?
I don't know.
So it's
Considering
one
their
per
technology system.
Yeah, so it's...
You could probably do a tour of all the different Lego stores and get one in each Lego store.
Yeah, so you're saying it's 1 per AFOL is what they've advertised?
I think so. Which, if people are going in and typically spending hundreds of pounds on an AFOL day...
Yeah, they're now reducing it down to everyone spends 75. That's a significant portion of their income on that day gone. It seems really odd. Do you think people who keep the gift with purchase will keep it sealed? Or do you think people are actually going to build these?
Again, it's going to depend on the gift with purchase. It's going to depend on whether it's got any unique parts. If it's got no unique parts, then it's probably better to keep it sealed in a box, buy the parts through Bricklink and build it yourself if you want it. Because people will pay a lot just to get it in a box. We've seen that with the Bricklink Designer Programme. Some of those, it is cheaper to buy the parts on Bricklink
for sure.
than it is to buy the ones people are selling on eBay, and yet people will still buy the ones from eBay.
Yeah, because they are either purists and they want the whole experience and the box and everything, or they don't do their research, or they're just crazy, I guess. I guess it's good for budgeting purposes. You can now look ahead for the year and say, right, I need to account £75, dollars, whatever, every 3 months in order to get my exclusive gift with purchase. And that's it, no more.
Yeah.
And so, because sometimes on AFOL Day you could spend a lot more. I think the thing that I'm going to be saddest about, though, is getting the discount on the pub cups. The things you can't get discounted normally.
But you could just buy 75 quid's worth of pub cups and get the gift with purchase.
Yeah, okay. So as long as those do count, I guess that, that's fine. Okay, then I'm fine with it.
Good.
£75 worth of pub cups. Slightly less than it used to be.
So what, about 2 cups now?
They're like £15, aren't they? So it's...
5.
Yeah, thanks.
It's okay.
That's why you're the maths genius and I'm ready for bed.
Yeah.
So I'm reserving judgment. I'm being positive about it. I'm gonna... I don't want to inflate it too much in my head, but it's going to be the best gift with purchase I've ever seen, because that's a nice way to think positive. But then if I put it too high, then it will be disappointing, won't it?
Yeah.
Okay. It's going to be a better thing for me than the 15% discount. That's what I've decided. I'm going to enjoy it more, and AFOL Day will mean yay every time. I guess what it means is AFOLs will go to every one. If the gift with purchase is different on each one and they're worth it, you'll get an AFOL go every 3 months. Whereas now you'll get I'll just pick it up next AFOL Day. There's no rush as such. You don't need to go and spend on every AFOL Day. Whereas now you kind
it has
of do.
to be in stock though. So there's still some cases where
okay.
if you leave it till the last AFOL Day before it retires,
then you might be disappointed.
Yeah.
Or have to buy it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. We'll be back when we know more about what it will be. We can discuss the first gift with purchase that arrives.
It's going to be a while, isn't it?
About 3 months.
Yeah. So if you've got any thoughts or ideas on the change to gift with purchases for AFOL days, then let us know in the comments below. And don't forget that you can catch all of our previous episodes on the YouTube playlist, which Carrie will link up now. And you can also listen to us on Spotify and some other places. Who knows where? I'm not in charge of that stuff.
Most podcast sites.
Most podcast sites. Apart from dodgy ones like iHeartRadio that don't do podcasts from people outside the US.
Yeah, that's the one.
And if you are listening to it on a streaming service, then remember to leave a comment of some form so that we know you're out there.
Leave a review, I think, is the thing you do there, yeah.
Fancy.
5-star, obviously. Nothing low.
Yep.
No more than that.
And we will catch you again next week for another episode of the podcast. Bye.
Bye. That was a little weird. I think I'm going to do it again next week.
Okay.
But thanks for the break.